Good morning. Thanks for joining us for the last edition of the week Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television. With me, Audrey Zatsa. Some improvised explosive devices have been seized by custom officials in Mayo Banyo Division in Viadamawa region. The improvised explosive devices were discovered Wednesday, June 1. According to the officials, suspected smugglers were transporting the merchandise in a vehicle from neighboring Nigeria, hidden among other properties. It was intercepted at the entrance into a locality called Bujumkwara. The suspects are currently under police custody for interrogation. The President of the Senate, Marcel Ndive, has celebrated the release of Senator Regina Mundi, rescued from alleged separatist fighters on Monday thanks to Defense and Security Forces. She was received yesterday by her colleagues, thanking them for the mark of affection towards her. A seminar to school young Cameroonians on leadership skills, conflict management and human rights is ongoing in the nation's economic capital. The three-day seminar, which opened yesterday, is organized by the Friedrich Hebert Foundation in partnership with the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa. Mwanzie Njogyogo tells us more. Mwanzie Njogyogo tells us more on this report.
Friedrich Hebert Foundation, in partnership with the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, has organized a three-day seminar which will hold from the 2nd to the 4th of June 2022 in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. This workshop, which is attended by 48 young leaders from various political parties, civil societies, syndicates, and also representatives from 9 regions in Cameroon, will school the future leaders on the principles of human rights, as says Barrister Felix Abobala, the president of the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa and the leading consultant of this workshop.
The main aim is to ensure that these young leaders imbibe the culture of human rights, so that by the time they will get to power, be they in political parties, in civil societies, in other walks of life, they will be mainstreaming human rights in whatever they are doing. It's difficult to be left-handed at old age, says an African adage, so it's to prepare them, to understand these tenets, these principles, so that they will be able to be the leaders that they are supposed to be, to work under a culture of human rights.
He equally adds that this workshop will aid the various participants in identifying corruption tendencies and also teach them techniques to fight this ill.
We want these youths to understand that corruption is a bad practice, but also for them techniques on how they can identify and how they can fight corruption in society.
According to Gabriel Ngwe, a project manager at the Friedrich Hebert Foundation, the seminar will aid participants to be more engaged in political and social affairs.
We want to have Cameroonians, a new generation of Cameroonians who are engaged in political and social affairs, who also know their rights, because as I just said, this training is one module out of 8 modules that we really teach to them. So this one is on the rights of human rights.
Speaking during this workshop, Sandrine Diribe, a militant for the People's Action Party, says skills and information acquired during this workshop will help in improving their communities.
Us as the young leaders of the program, it's something that it's like an accumulation of information and skills that we are getting in order to better our communities. Because first off, we as participants of the program, I would say, are already actively engaged, or are young persons that are active in our communities in the sense of wanting to promote change in one way or another.
It is worth bearing in mind that participants have been through a competitive examination which is organized throughout the national territory.
The mayors of the West and Northwest region are now better equipped to execute their budget or manage their budget. They met yesterday in Bafoussam for a workshop on the implementation of the 2022 budget for decentralized local authorities. Let's have more in this excerpt selected to us by Flo Kamga.
Authorities to implement the budget, because normally now we talk about the program budget. So this workshop will help give them the ample information with regards to the execution of the budget, taking into consideration the aspect of citizen participation. The circular is to help regional and local authorities to guide them specifically, because we have the secular and the execution of the budget of the state. But it is important also that regional local authorities to have their own secular, to know on how to implement the innovations with regards to the new financial regime of regional local authorities. So this secular has helped to guide regional local authorities, taking into consideration the innovations such as the program budget and other aspects such as the budget orientation debate, citizen participation, and the medium-term expenditure framework and the medium-term budgetary framework. So I think the secular will also help to sensitize the regional local authorities to bring in the aspect of citizen participation in both the execution and the elaboration of the budget.
Well, this letter is really we are happy to have this seminar coming up. It will help us to better manage our city. You know, the finances are tricky, especially when it's state finance. We have to know exactly what the law says, so we can implement it the right way. So it's a good thing for us. We will really take advantage of what we're going to learn and make sure that we go along what the law says.
First of all, the objective of this come together is to organize this very important document, to make it known to the actors on the field. So today we are expecting them to be very attentive and to listen to the experts, ask questions, and in return to go on the field and to put it into practice. It's a document that has been made available for the actors, all those who are involved in the execution of the budget, to help in facilitating the proper management and execution of the budget.
Of this seminar is to let the regional local authorities know the contents of the circular letter on the execution of the budget, and to permit them to familiarize themselves also, and also to help guide them to implement the good and best budgetary practices with regards to the execution of.
The Southwest Regional Assembly is optimistic that its 2022 contracts will be executed to its fullest. This was revealed during the Assembly session to examine the administration, management and stores account for 2022. Emanuella C. has details.
To help them evaluate the plan. The implementation of the plan is done by the regional delegates.
Affirming that corruption aggravates the poverty of the local population and deprives a region like the Southwest region of its natural resources and potentials, members of the Coordination Committee of CONAC have called on all in the Southwest region to be patriotic towards the fight against corruption in the region. The mayor of the Buea Council and the governor of the Southwest region called on the participants to be frank in their evaluations and input so that the situation of corruption in the region can be improved upon terms of action on the ground. Mr. Fotung Samuel Tandong noted that the Southwest region has not been doing well in its fight against corruption since 2012.
The Southwest region has not been doing very well. It has been... But for the last evaluation in 2017, it moved up by 4.3 points. It was relatively nice. But in general, we see that the evaluation shows that they're less than 50%. In fact, very few regions have gone above 50%. So they have not been doing very, very well.
While evaluating the 2020-2021 anti-corruption plan, participants recommended that there is need for a reboost of sensitization against the practice of corruption in the region. Also, they agreed that there is need for an improvement on incentives in the publication of sanctions, to name but a few. Today, the participants will focus on the development of the anti-corruption action plan for 2022.
The Cameroonian government has organized an inter-regional workshop for producers of local flours, that is cassava, potatoes, among others, in Garoua. During the meeting yesterday, which brought together producers from the north and far north regions, the government presented its plan to create a platform to unite local flour producers. The idea of setting up a platform for local flour producers is to boost production and reduce Cameroon's dependency rate on wheat flour imports. Comes at a time when The debate on the need to find substitute for wheat flour is resurfacing in the country due to the Russia-Ukraine crisis. The 18th edition of the International Cycling Tour of Cameroon will take place from June 4 to 12, 2022. Ahead of this important event, preparations are ongoing in the country. The delegations of Morocco, Rwanda, and Nigeria arrived Cameroon yesterday to take part in the long-awaited competition. And out of the country in Senegal, Senegalese President Macky Sall, current chairman of the African Union, is presently in Russia for talks with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin this Friday, June 3. According to a statement by his office, the visit is part of the efforts of the current chairmanship of the Union to contribute to the lull in the war in Ukraine and the release of stocks of grain and fertilizer, whose blockage particularly affects African countries. The visit takes place at the invitation of Putin, and Macky Sall will be accompanied by the chairman of the African Union Commission, Tchadjan Moussa Faki Mahamat. That was it for today's edition, produced by Elvis Mudika. Thanks for watching, faithful viewers. Stay glued for more programs on the African Eye. Bye.
Welcome to a new world of TV broadcasting. My